Hi guys.
Hey everybody. We're going to wait for a few more people to come on, but we're so excited to see you guys here with us today. So a little bit about today, what we have going on is you're a part of the Demi-Domination Tour. So what we're talking about today is gray blending, and our little tag to this whole class is contouring the grays away. So who I have with me today is a great friend of mine. Her name is Mary.
Yes.
So Mary's actually a hairdresser here at Kaleido Hair. We're inside Kaleido Hair right now, which is my salon in Houston, Texas. So some cool things about Mary is actually a sole proprietor here at Kaleido. Kaleido is a booth rental and also a commission salon, so we're a hybrid salon. So I love that Mary is actually an eclectic hairdresser, like I like to say. So she's had her hands in quite a few different things. So I thought that it would be fun to bring Mary on to talk about all things demi-permanent. So Mary, if you don't mind, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody and tell everybody a little bit about you.
Hi everyone, super excited to be here. My name is Mary. I'm from Scotland. I'm a hairdresser. I've been in the industry for 10 years now. I work at Kaleido Hair, like Liz said, and my specialty is blondes and highlights.
Yes. So today, what I'm excited to talk to you guys about, and again, my name is LizHaven. I'm excited to talk to you guys about gray blending and contouring those grays away. So something about me and my niche market behind the chair is I specialize in lived-in blondes, lived-in bronze, anything lived in and believable. So I go ahead and let that spill into gray blending. So for example, what I like to ask myself whenever I have someone sitting in my chair is, does the hair naturally gray 9 times out of 10? And for most of my guests, it's usually going to show around the temples first, it's going to show a little bit around the hairline, and it'll spill a little bit more on their natural hairline naturally. So I like to mimic that behind the chair because I don't know about you, Mary, we were talking earlier today that there's even a trend in makeup right now where everybody wants to embrace their natural skin. So that's just what's going on in the industry right now. Makeup, fashion, everything alike. We like to see our natural skin, the natural hues. So same thing whenever it comes to color, in my opinion, is I want to honor that natural dimension that's in the hair. So just like whenever we're putting makeup on our skin, I feel like full coverage makeup, it's still acceptable. I wear full coverage, right? But there are quite a bit of people that right now where the trend is going, you just don't want that full coverage makeup. So what was that brand we were talking about earlier? Ilia makeup. Yes. Mm-hmm. So Ilia is so in, right? Like they put that makeup on, you can see your natural freckles underneath the makeup. That's what I'm inspired by right now, is where the trend is going whenever it comes to just natural lived-in looks. And I go ahead and translate that into hair. So for me, what I'm going to show you guys is how to work with gray blending whenever it comes to a demi-permanent hair color. So let's talk about the two different things first, just to get started. So you have a demi-permanent hair color, and then you have also a permanent hair color, right? So your demi-permanent hair color, that's going to give you up to 70% coverage whenever it comes to gray blending. And then your permanent hair color, that's going to give you 100% coverage. So what we're talking about today and what we're touching on today is how we can use gray blending to really get that coverage that we want and that we desire, which is anywhere between 30 to 70% coverage. So if you have any questions, you guys, along the way throughout this entire live, I want you guys to ask those questions. I know I said earlier today, or maybe I didn't say earlier, I actually have Adriana behind the phone today.
Hello everyone.
Filming. So Adriana is here to ask all of your questions out loud. So ask away. You can ask with Mary as well. We can answer your questions together. So let's just go ahead and get started, you guys. So, and tell me where y'all are from. I'm curious who my audience is. I love knowing who I'm talking to and who's on the other side of that screen.
We've got people from Brazil.
Oh, okay.
Vanya. Let's see. LA, Ontario,
Hey.
UK,
Wow.
Las Vegas. Yes, we have people everywhere.
Well,
Love that.
welcome, you guys. We, again, I don't know if you're just joining, but we are just so excited to talk about this. Something that I'm super passionate about as a hairdresser is placement.
Yeah.
You'll find that if you ever look at my gram, at LizHaven, you're going to find that I always inspired about how the hair naturally shifts. So that's what I'm going to be talking to, what I'm going to be speaking to today on these two mannequins. So just to jump right in, because I know that we don't have the most time today, so I want to make sure that we take care of, or I get to the point on all of these pretty quickly. But what I did first here is I like to call this my creative classics approach. So what I did here is I put a color retouch on this mannequin, which we all know how to do that, right? So a color retouch. But then what I did is I went in and I dropped in some lows. So what I mean by lows is low lights. So something that I want to bring attention to this is anytime a guest comes in for me as an artist, so imagine she has gray. So imagine all of these blonde and gold pieces are gray. So get with me on that first. So what I like to do is I like to have a consultation with my guests whenever they sit in my chair. I don't care if I've seen them for 5 years. I don't care if it's my first visit. Every time they sit in my chair, I'm going to have another consultation. So what I like to do is I like to contour to whatever fade they have or whatever dimension that they currently have in their hair right now. So what I like to do, so I'm imagining that this guest has already had a color retouch. She's already had it pulled all the way through her ends, and now she has some fading going on. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use the natural fade in this guest's hair, and I'm going to contour her grays away with a demi-permanent, honoring that natural fade, right? So
wow, that looks amazing.
is this
Hey,
Lola?
Liz.
Yes.
Hi, Liz.
Hi, Lola.
Oh my gosh, this all looks so fantastic already. I just wanted to hop on really quick to let everyone know this is Demi Domination World Tour Show 3, and we're so excited that we have LizHaven, the brilliant, very well accomplished stylist here, guiding us through some really cool gray blending techniques using IGORA Vibrance. And I think Liz is a wealth of knowledge, and I'm so excited for all of you to let her, I'm so excited for everyone to see everything she's going to show us and everything she has to say today. And, just popping in really quick to let you know that myself, One Length Bob, is here in the comments to, help you out if you have any questions, if Liz can't get to an answer in time. And yeah, with that, I will hop out and let you keep going, Liz. So take it away.
Thank you. Yes, you guys, again, just to second what Lola said, she's saying that, any questions that you have, even if I can't answer them and I'm totally stumped, she can definitely help you out in the comments. And you can also send Schwarzkopf USA a DM at any time. And Schwarzkopf is always just all about answering those DMs. So what I'm doing right here is what I like to call creative classics. So I have that classic 4-quadrant. What I like to do instead of going horizontally is I personally like to work with the shape of the head. So I'm going to catch this little guy up because he kind of missed the little boat right there. But what I like to do is work with diagonals. I'm acting as if, remember, this is gray blending, right? So I'm acting as if there is gray hair right here and there's a color retouch that we're doing. So I'm using the cream developer, which is 13 volume. The 13 volume cream developer, what that can do is actually shift the base just one level. So if you don't want to shift base and you just want to apply at the root and just tint the root, you would use the 6 volume. So that's something interesting that we can expand on in a little bit about how we have 2 different developers with this demi-permanent IGORA Vibrance. Is we have a 6 volume and a 13 volume. So right now what I'm doing is I'm placing right at the root. I'm covering, actually I'm blending my guest's gray right at the root. I'm using the cream developer, the lotion activator. Let's imagine she has about 4 weeks of new growth. So that's going to put us right at 1/2 inch. So why I'm not dragging this down right now is because I want to contour her leftover fade. So remember how I discussed earlier when we were just getting started, how I really love to work with the natural fade and how the hair naturally lightens the hair. That's what I'm working with. So I'm imagining my guest has come in with a natural fade to her hair from just natural wear and tear and new growth. So first what I'm doing is blending her new growth and taking care of her new growth. Adriana, do we have any questions?
Yes, with this demi, what kind of coverage is the goal?
Okay, so what I like to do as an artist is I like to honor the natural dimension in the hair. So what that means is any type of gray that's in the hair, for me as an artist, I love to honor that dimension by putting something on top of it that has maybe, I personally like 50 to 70%, which I mean is such a demi-permanent, end result. So My goal for all of my guests is going to be about 50 to 70% blend. 30% is good. You can get 30%. You can tailor your formula to get 30%, but I like about 50% blend on my guests, especially if they really just want to tackle it. So the goal for this one with 13 volume is going to be about 50%. Why it's 50%? And I don't want to confuse you guys, but that's such a great question that I do want to take it, Adriana, to the back, right behind us. I want to explain something to you guys right here, just before we even get started, because gray blending is so important, and you can do a lot of fun things with gray blending, and you can create quite a bit of trust with your guest if you can conquer gray blending in a creative way. So because we have IGORA VIBRANCE, we have two different developers. We have your 6 volume, and we also have the 13 volume developers, okay? I have 2 6 volumes right here. JK. So you have 16 volume and you have 13 volume. 6 volume is going to give you 30 to 50% gray coverage. 13 volume can give you up to 70% gray coverage. Okay, so I would use a 13 volume anytime that I really want to conceal those grays. Maybe you're taking a guest from using a permanent hair color and you're introducing them to gray blending. That would be an excellent option for you to use a 13 volume. So you guys can screenshot this. These are great bullet point notes. But anytime you want to have that full gray coverage, like the 70%, you would use our -00 series. It's called Naturals Extra. And you would use 1 part of that extra to 3 part of your natural. So if you guys have any questions about that, I know, especially if you're new to IGORA VIBRANCE, I can see how maybe that could be a little bit confusing, especially because we're on an Instagram live. So we don't have, 5 hours for me to talk about this, which believe me, I can talk for 5 hours about it.
Somebody did ask, why would we use the 6 volume then?
Okay, so 6 volume would be if you do not want 70% coverage.
Right.
So 6 volume is perfect if your goal is 30 to 50% coverage. So if you really become an expert at gray blending, if you really become this artist whenever it comes to gray blending and getting that clientele and being niche about a gray blending clientele, being intentional about which developer to use, you can really customize it, and that could take me into a whole nother series, which is business talk too, because once you hit that niche market of gray blending, of blonding, for me, lived in blondes, lived in bronze, then once you conquer something and perfect it, then you can start showing that in your menu pricing as well. So, okay, I could go on and on and on, but I do want to bring light that, Mary, you haven't worked with IGORA VIBRANCE a whole lot, but
Not too much.
I do want to know, go back to when you first were introduced to IGORA VIBRANCE, because there are some people here right now that it's their first time being introduced to IGORA VIBRANCE. And what are some things that really drew you into IGORA VIBRANCE where you're like, okay, you know what, I want to give this a shot? I know for me what mine is, but I want to know what yours is.
Okay, the brands that I've worked with in the past, I would say for being a demi-permanent hair color, I think it's really interesting that VIBRANCE, they offer 2 different types of developers. They offer the 6 volume and also the 13 volume. I also enjoy the fact that it is sulfate and alcohol free, so it protects the health of the hair. And I'm also interested to know why or how you can process the color for up to 20 minutes, so that way it gives you a different amount of longevity as far as what your formulation goes. So Liz, what are we going to be processing our model here today for?
Yes. Okay, so I want the full power of this product that I'm using right now. So I'm going to process her for the full amount. So if I process, you can process anywhere between 5 to 20 minutes whenever it comes to IGORA VIBRANCE. So if I were to process for 10 minutes, that just means the longevity of it is just not going to be the same amount. So this can last up to 25 shampoos. So just keep that in mind. If you process for 5 minutes or 15 minutes or, 10 minutes, then you're just not going to get the same amount of shampoos that you normally would.
So if I have a client who decides they want to convert into a permanent color, will I be able to translate and convert this formula into the IGORA Royal line?
Oh, that's so interesting. So, you guys, what Mary just asked me is if she has somebody, you said that's using permanent hair color?
If
Okay.
I wanted to transition them into this.
So she's asking if she has someone, let's say, using Agora Royal, which is Schwarzkopf's permanent hair color line. If she has somebody using that, is it going to be easy to shift them into the Agora Vibrance? So this is the gel, you guys. So my question to that is yes, it would be very easy to switch your guest from the Agora Royal into the Agora Vibrance because our numbering system is the same across the board. So it's the same in our demi-permanent line as it is in our permanent line. So yes, that's an excellent question. Okay, you guys, what I'm doing right now is, like I said, I'm contouring the grays away. So I'm acting as if my guest came in with a natural fade to her hair. She came in with a fade from the color that we did the time before. So I'm using her fade and I'm using her light to her advantage. I placed the root retouch with the lotion. Okay, I did 1/2 inch of that all the way across. And now what I'm going to do is use my gel. You guys can see the consistency of this. And we can bring it over here, Adriana, and I'll show them right here as well. So you can see this gel consistency. So now I'm going to use the gel 6 volume on the mids. I just want to refresh the mids, add a little bit more shine. What I'm doing is I'm contouring in a way that you would contour makeup. So I'm dropping it in a diagonal back right here. And notice how I left the front out. So her gray blending and gray coverage is definitely tackled and taken care of at the root area, but I'm being very strategic in what I'm leaving out just so she can get that natural balayage look around the face. So I want people to think that when her hair fades, they think it's sun-kissed because the way that Agora Vibrance is going to fade off of her natural gray, remember it honors the natural dimension in the hair, it's going to look sun-kissed.
Love Hair Casey asked, can you use the demi line on damp hair?
Yes, you can use the demi line on damp hair.
See. And then another person asked, can I use 13 volume with demi for gray coverage? Which I think.
Okay, so her question is, can I use 13 volume? What was the rest of it?
With demi for gray coverage.
Yes. Okay, so again, you guys, and I don't know when you guys are signing in, so I do not have a problem repeating and revisiting. So again, watch this. I'm going to drop that out in the front. I'm going to use this pre-existing light or this pre-existing fade as a nice natural balayage look around the face. So I'm going to drop it out around the face, and I'm going to contour and be intentional about where I'm going to place this drop. So yes, 13 volume to her question is, can I use 13 volume with demi-permanent? You're going to get up to 70% gray coverage with the 13 volume. If you use the 6 volume, you'll get up to 50% gray coverage.
Beauty Glam by Brandy, she asked, can you blend the so you can blend the lotion and the gel?
Oh, okay, so that's a great question. And Lola, I would like for you to chime in on that so that you can tell us manufacturer, recommendation. But if you ask me, I do mix gel and lotion sometimes. So if that is breaking the rules, I'll admit that sometimes I break the rules. What I'm doing whenever I'm doing that is I'm either trying to tackle a certain consistency that I want, or maybe I want to dilute the 13 volume and strengthen the 6 volume. So I do things like that sometimes.
And then it's someone named Jason. Thank you so much, Jason. Are you brushing at the end, like after all of the application?
So we are not. Once I brush through and I kind of manipulate that product a little bit further and drag it a little bit further, I leave the ends totally out. But yes, I do brush through each section, but I do not touch or manipulate it any further after that.
And then I see a couple people asking some questions about how much percentage of gray it covers. So I'm going to show them our paper one more time. Y'all can take a screenshot of this here so you can see how much percentage that we can cover. Let's go back over here to what Miss Liz is doing.
Okay, so again, we're contouring. I'm doing a nice drop and a nice slope right here. And you guys, let me know if you're enjoying this too. I want to know if you're enjoying this technique. Show us some hearts, interact with us, just so that I know you guys are here with me. If it were an in-person class, I would definitely be asking y'all questions, seeing how you're feeling about all of this and if you're catching on.
Let's see, Miss Lola. She said, can you tell her she is beautiful? Thank you, guys.
Okay, so again, I'm contouring. I'm strategically leaving bright pieces out along the hairline. Remember, we're inspired by product lines like Ilia, right? We want to see the natural dimension in the hair. We want to see those natural freckles underneath the makeup, right? So I don't want to hide, and I don't want to create an opaque coverage. I want to have a multi-dimensional coverage, right? So I'm going to be strategic with where and what I pick up. And I'm going to be strategic with where I place my low or my drop.
Some friends here are asking what this is called, what this technique is called.
I like to call it a reverse balayage.
And then, let's see, you guys are asking if we will be able to see the class later on. We will. We're going to be saving it to IGTV, so you guys will be able to see it later.
Mary, so when you first heard about IGORA Vibrance and it was first introduced to you, what were your main questions whenever it came to the idea of entertaining a new color line? Or what's important to you too whenever it comes to a demi-permanent color?
Ooh, great question. Thank you. I like versatility. I like to know that the formulas that I choose for my clients, especially in a demi-permanent line, are not going to commit them or withhold them from their options in the future. Which is, again, why I like the varying processing times of IGORA Vibrance. Because if we process today's formula for up to 20 minutes, the maximum processing time, obviously we're going to have a little bit more coverage. I enjoy the fact that we can drop it down a little bit in time as well, so that way just add a little bit of glistening, a little bit of shine. And I also heard that IGORA Vibrance also offer a 0-00 gloss treatment, so you can use it as a standalone treatment without any sort of pigmentation. Liz, if our model today was going to request something for some extra shine, would that be an option for our guests today and also in real life?
Yes, actually, the really cool thing about 0-00 is yes, they give it, they can sell it to you. I'll show you in a nice little box like this, which, you know, just because I'm passionate about Agora Royal, Agora Vibrance, everything, Schwarzkopf, Blummy, everything, I really love their packaging. So I'm just going to touch on that just a little bit because I'm a salon owner, and whenever it comes to storing color and it being in an actual box, that's paramount for me because I'm able to really be organized. I'm a minimalist, so I love that I can stack all these boxes. I can clearly see all of the color. All of my artists can see all of the color. But when it comes to 0-00, like Mary was saying, is yes, you can get it in a box like this, but you can also get 0-00 in a bottle, similar to this, a little bit smaller. But why is that so cool? Why am I excited about that? I'm excited about that because that's a quick add-on service because our 0-00, we do not have to add an activator to it. So like Mary's saying, okay, if you want to add some shine to your guest and you really want to take that color that you just created to the next level and create a nice gloss everywhere, a believable gloss, nothing too high intense, you know, you can actually just grab that bottle and just apply it to their hair at the shampoo bowl, and it processes without an activator. So that's less products, and it's quicker. So I love that. That's such a great question. I love that.
We have a couple other questions here. So Jim is asking, how long will the demi color last?
Okay, so it lasts up to 25 shampoos. That's a great question. If you process it for the full 20 minutes, it lasts up to 25 shampoos. Now remember, if you process it, you know, right here, processing time 5 minutes to 20 minutes, less time equals less shampoo longevity.
Thank you.
Yes.
And then another guest, Becky, she asked, does the gel come in 13 ball as well? And if so, what would that give the same coverage as the 13 lotion?
So correct me if I'm wrong, Lola, but you know, because from my memory, I usually grab that 6-ball gel, and I usually grab that 13-ball lotion, but I want to say that we do not have a 13-volume gel.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, so notice this. You can already see her contour. And I applied earlier for you guys, so she's 3/4 pre-done. So you can see how she's going to have that nice glow on that interior, right, of all of her pre-existing fade right there. And we're kind of using that around her hairline as well. And this is what it looks like just applied. So I know I was watching on our post prior to this class where it says contour your grays away, and people were commenting, what does that mean? This is what it means. It's contouring. It's being very creative and strategic whenever it comes to gray blending. So I know that a lot of times we think, oh, gray blending, let me let the fire truck pass by, because I know you guys can hear it. But I know that whenever you think gray blending, you're just like, oh, let me get that root retouch in. But they want to feel special too. They want to feel pretty too. And you know, if you do become a specialized niche gray blending lived-in specialist in your menu, that can reflect. So instead of charging, you know, $50 for a color retouch, you can now, because you do all of these nifty creative things. You take the time to look at their bone structure, you take the time to notice what kind of makeup they wear, and you take the time to really recommend things, then that's going to reflect in your menu prices. So what do you guys think about this application?
All right, we have, let's see. They would like to see all of the writing here so that you guys can hopefully screenshot these. I'm just going to take a look at each one really quick. And you can go ahead and screenshot all of Liz's lovely notes. And give us some more questions. We'd love to answer them.
I think this is great for them to screenshot, Adriana.
Yeah.
So this is our actual numbering system whenever it comes to Agora Vibrance. So Mary, can you pass me one of those boxes? Yes. Thank you, thank you. 6-12. Okay, so 6-12, for example. So when you see this dash right here, it's just showing you it's in the middle. So I don't want you to get confused. Here's the dash right here. So here's our numbering system. Everything on the left side of the dash is your color depth. So this is a level 6, right? So this is a dark blonde. And everything on the right side of the dash is going to be your tonal direction. So for 6-12, 1 is cendre, blue-violet, and 2 is ash, which is blue. So the cool thing about Agora Vibrance, it tells you exactly what's living inside this bottle, inside this box. So I love that. It gives me confidence as an artist. So I'll let you guys take a screenshot of that. And then also I want to show you, if I can find it. I had it, the color wheel for you guys.
And we will be sharing the formulas as well. These are the formulas. So the first mannequin we just did is right here. And then you guys just want to verify that we will be saving the live so you guys can look at it later.
Are you guys liking this? I hope you're enjoying it.
They say yes and they say save, please.
Okay. I mean, it's a passion of mine to share not only something that I'm passionate about, which is Schwarzkopf, you know, but techniques as well, and just things that you can actually use behind the chair. So I'm having just as much fun as hopefully you guys are having as well. But I want to show you guys this as well. So I'm going to put it down on a flat surface so you can screenshot this if you need to. And you might want to lift it just a little bit so just in case the comments are in the way for them. Okay, so the cool thing about this, you guys, is this shows you exactly where the color lives on the color wheel. And I have found this to be incredibly true. So I have 100% confidence in this. And Adriana is actually my assistant in real life. She's the one that's actually holding the phone. Adriana, you can attest to this. Anytime I go mix, I go and look at this color wheel.
Yes, you take a look at it for a good while and you think and you make all kinds of decisions and boom.
Yes, because to me, working with underlining pigment is a big deal, and it's just a huge deal for me. So I love raw underlining pigment, but if I do want to control, or if I do want to amp up that underlining pigment or neutralize it, then I always use that color wheel, and I just stay true to the classics. Okay, are y'all ready for the next technique?
Yes.
Okay, so let me grab that for you.
And they have another question before we move on. How do you compare the Vibrance to the TBH?
Oh, okay. I would say TBH is kind of like Agora Royal and Agora Vibrance had a baby. It's just kind of lives right there in the middle. Right. TBH still honors that natural dimension in the hair. TBH has a little bit of a rosy hue and a rosy undertone. Lola, maybe you can jump on the comment as well for that and really speak to that, because there's some cool nuances that TBH has to offer, and it's a very interesting and fun line to work with. I really enjoy working with TBH. Okay, you guys, so let me tell you the inspiration whenever it comes to this guest. So imagine your guest comes in, right, and they're just starting to get gray. It's just starting to happen for them. Or no, let's switch it up a little bit. Let's say your guest comes in and they're starting to see more and more gray, right? When they first came in, they had just a little bit around the temples. They just had a little bit right here at the top. But now it's really starting to spread. And I don't know about you guys, but from my experience, in the back and the nape area is where it hits last. Like, why can't that be in the front? You know, why can't the gray start in the back? But let's just be real, the gray starts in the front. So I'm imagining that this guest has come in, they're probably around 50% gray, and they want to go back and rewind like maybe 5 years, right? They don't want to totally erase, they don't want to totally this guest and for this person is, hey, let's put a retouch everywhere except for your hairline. Let's keep you true and real and natural. Let's take it back probably 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. Let's match your root color. Let's take you where nobody's even going to know. It's going to look like you have sun-kissed blonde pieces right here on the top when it fades. But let's just low light around the hairline. So these are actual placements that I do and I would do behind the chair. This is how I work with my clientele. This is what makes me niche. This is what makes me, it's just what builds the confidence between me and my client, because I take the time to sit down on a stool, I talk to them, I find out what's important to them, and I truly, truly customize something to that guest. So what you can do for this retouch in the back, I did 2 hemispheres. So I used her, I went ahead and used my guest's natural part, so she naturally parts right here. I then parted all the way back down to the nape, and I did 2 hemispheres. So what you would do in these 2 hemispheres is basically what we did on the mannequin before, our creative classics. So you would do that color retouch, you would either do a melt, or you could do some sort of reverse balayage. You want to keep those ends faded, or you want to keep those ends natural. What you can do after you see me do this application as well is you can take this guest to the shampoo area, and you can put a gloss on top, which is a demi-permanent. You can gloss for 13 volume if you want to add a little bit more coverage. So with this guest, we're doing, these are the formulas. So with mannequin number 2, we're doing 7071. So 1 is cendre, 0 is natural. We're doing 6 volume lotion because I wanted to do a 30% to 50% coverage. I didn't want to have full coverage. But just to get creative and just to brainstorm with you guys, you can tone at the bowl with 13 volume. So say you put 7 here and then you want to glaze all over with 9 with an like 9-0 or a 9-4, which is your muted gold. Then you can totally do that and even add another touch of gray blending at that shampoo bowl. Are you guys with me? Do y'all understand where I'm going with this?
All right. A guest named Leslie, she asked, how would you apply to gray hair strands that are past mids to, like basically throughout, all the way to the end?
All the way to the end. Okay, so then for your first visit, you could do a full root to end application if you want. If I did do something like that, what I would do is put a darker color at the root area and I would melt it into a lighter version. Okay, that's what I would do. Remember, 13 volume can shift. It can bump it about 1 level if you want and you so desire, but we are working with a demi-permanent here. So if she's a natural level 6, then I would maybe play with tonal direction, right? So maybe I would put an ashier, like 6-1 on the root area, and then I could shift her to maybe some sort of -4 or -5 to create that gold reflection, because cool tones absorb light and warm tones reflect. So you could create that nice natural hue by putting something that absorbs the light at the root and reflects the light on the bottom. Okay, so what I would do here is I would now highlight, I'm sorry, I would low light because we're going to add some pigment back, right, you guys? The entire hairline. So for this, I would do more of a baby light density. Do we have any more questions?
Let's see. She said, can you repeat the glaze color choice to tone?
And even this, I'm going to leave the ends out because I don't want to add too much dark to the ends. I want to create a natural, believable end result. And what was that question, Adriana?
They wanted to have the glaze color choice repeated. So it's Paisley, I'm not sure I understand the question. If you could just resend it, that would be great. And then, if you tone at the end with a 13 ball instead of a 6 ball, will you get a brighter appearance?
That's a great question. Lola, I would love if you could jump in on that and really answer for the manufacturer point of view. For the artist point of view, I believe that you will get a brighter end result, especially if you have a little bit of natural in there. It can bump that natural just a little bit.
Somebody else asked, how do you use the different developers?
So 13 volume is going to give you up to 70% gray coverage, and then your 6 volume is going to give you up to 50% gray coverage. And check this out, you guys. I'm getting right to the root. I'm using the cream developer, the lotion developer, so that I have a little bit more control in my foil packets. I'm leaving the ends out to be very strategic with that. And remember, we're imagining that this guest has a natural fade. We've already put the color all over. It's already faded. We can kind of see some of those gold tones coming through. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that on the ends and use that to our advantage.
Just so you guys are aware, the 6-1 and 6-0 was mixed together for the first model, and this second model is going to be the 7-0 and 7-1. And then it says, how do you decide glaze color choice to tone down? That's from Paisley.
How do you decide glaze color choice to tone down? So I would, if it's pre-lightened, I would look at underlining pigment. If it's not pre-lightened, I would look at the tones that you have there and ask yourself what direction you want to go tonality-wise, and build from there using the color wheel and the key. So I'm very organic with my placement. So you can see that as I'm working up this hairline, I'm just puzzling along. I feel like gray is very, very organic and where it wants to pop up. And there's no true pattern to gray. So that's what I'm honoring right here, is I'm just being very organic with my placement and just adding lows where I see fit. If this were a real guest in my chair, what I would be doing is analyzing where the gray is living, and I would be mimicking that.
You guys have any more questions about placement or the Vibrance line?
Are you guys liking this? Is this helping you get creative whenever it comes to working behind the chair and maybe how to approach gray blending? Okay, so I know that we probably have about how many more minutes, Adriana?
We've got about 20 more minutes.
Okay, we have about 15 to 20 more minutes. So what I want to talk to you guys about next is I'm going to place a few more foils while we're on this, because I want to get to another one, you guys. So if I don't jump out of this, and I can't tell you the cool idea I have for the third mannequin, and I can't brainstorm with you guys for the third mannequin if I don't pass up on this one. So if you have any questions about this, the idea on this placement, or the inspiration on it, or anything really, ask away so that I can take care of that before I get to the next fun placement.
What is the biggest challenge about gray contouring, and how would you suggest a stylist overcome that challenge?
Oh, what do you think would be the greatest challenge for gray contouring?
Ooh, I think it would depend on whether it's a formulation issue or if it's an application issue. I would say for contouring grays, for me personally as an artist, I would never want to formulate darker than my client's natural level.
Oh, that's so good.
I would always want to formulate on level, or if we're not trying to completely cover gray, if we're just going for a little bit of like shimmer, a little bit of low light, reverse balayage, maybe even a little bit lighter on the ends. And then again, from Liz's applications, you can see keeping it organic, following the natural fall of the hair, how their hair falls, where they part. If we're going to be addressing the interior or just the exterior, I think all of those things are important because the application is going to be enhanced by your formulation. So I would say focus on your formulation first. Keep it organic, keep it natural. I think you'll know what not to do if you make a mistake when formulating, if that makes any sense.
Thank you. Yeah. Liz, I have a couple guests asking if this will cover resistant grays.
13 volume.
13 volume.
And it's not going to be 100% coverage. So if you're used to 100% coverage, just prep yourself before you even get started that you're trying something new, and that seeing a little bit of that natural dimension and seeing a little bit of that gray is totally okay.
And then some other guests were asking if we are going to show the final look.
So I do not have a pre-done model done for you guys. What I would really love to see is how you guys implement these things behind the chair, because it's pretty much just, you see it for what it is. We did a color retouch right here. You're dropping down a little bit of that reverse balayage. You're honoring that existing light on the ends. If there is some gray that's showing on the ends that maybe you want to cover, you can always go to the shampoo bowl, put a level 9 on those ends with even a 13 volume. It's just going to add shine and reinforce what you did on that root area. It's not going to rewrite anything. And then right here around the hairline, what you're doing is you're just adding those low lights so that you can take your guests back maybe even 5 years, 3 to 5 years. They feel just a little bit younger. They still feel like themselves and not like they're trying to be anybody that they're not. So I would love to see how you guys implement this behind the chair, and how you got inspired from this class. But I think that we have, what, 10 more minutes?
We've got about 15 more minutes.
Okay. And clearly I'm excited about sharing with you guys the next thing.
Yes.
Because, and let me bring the other one up here too as well. So you have your creative classics. You have your creative classics with a twist, where you have the same application, reverse balayage. You can, and then you're going to just low light around the hairline. So what you would see is these packets all the way around her entire hairline. It would create a believable introduction to taking her back a few years. And now, I don't know about you guys, and give me some hearts if you know anybody like that, but do you know anybody in your life that's maybe 16, 17 years old, maybe even 18 years old, that has about 20% gray, 10% gray? Am I getting some hearts? Does anybody know? Anybody like that? I do. And that's why I'm so excited about this placement, just because, like I was talking about how, you know, the trend with makeup and the trend with just how naturals and believables, and can you imagine being, I don't know, 17 years old, 18 years old, you see all these beautiful balayages, everybody has their natural root color, and here you are with 20% gray, and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Could you
Lots of hearts. Lots of hearts.
Okay, so it happens. I want that guest to feel so good in my chair. I want them to feel like I finally found somebody that understands that I want to have that natural, believable Ilia makeup, show my freckles underneath type of hair color. So this is what I would do. I'm gonna grab a, oh, you have it.
We have a bunch of friends who are saying that they've been gray since they were teenagers, so yes, This is great.
Okay. So one thing I would like you to ask yourself before we even get started on this is, would you want for their retouch or for their next color appointment, are you somebody that needs to know exactly where you left off on your placement? Or are you somebody that likes to, that's okay with working with the canvas that comes in? So I'm going to give you two different options. Be true to who you are. Me, I love working with the canvas that comes in. So the application that I would do would be a zigzag application. If you're somebody that's like, I need to know exactly where I left off, that would stress me out if I don't, then I would want you to do the solid line application. So I have two ways for you guys. So the inspiration for this, which my friend Brenna did this, and you can already see she already looks so beautiful. So what we need to do here is we need to remember that our guest is living probably her best life at 17, 18 years old, has like 20% gray, and we need to honor that, right? So what I want to do is match her natural hair color, and I want to play with tones. So I'm going to mix two different formulas for tonal direction, and then I'm also going to mix, I'll probably mix 4 formulas if it were her first application. So you guys follow me. If my guest sat in my chair, I'm going to need about 3 clips. So if my guest sat in my chair, she's 17, 20% gray, is upset about it, I'm going to follow her natural part. I'm going to drop her natural part all the way down to the nape so that I have control. So you guys answer this. If you are working, if you're working behind the chair, and if you see a guest that comes in and the sun naturally lightens their hair, where does it naturally lighten it? It naturally lightens it around the hairline, right? So what I would do for this guest is I would creatively part out her hairline, but I would make sure that I do it in a way where it just peeks out in a nice detail, kind of like it already is. So I would start with my zigzag pattern, and I would just follow the shape of her head. Oh, she has extensions. I didn't know that. Hey.
It's good that you're talking about this because we had a couple guests asking, how would you talk to your guests about gray blending? How would you consult about it?
Yeah. This is great also. It doesn't have to be a 17-year-old or 18-year-old. And why I said 17 and 18 is because it's such a fun color blocking placement that I feel like 17 and 18, younger, you know, they would just enjoy that they have a fresh approach to gray blending so that it doesn't take away or it doesn't, I guess, hinder their idea of gray blending. It makes it a little bit more exciting. So for me, I would personally do a zigzag pattern. I would drop her entire hairline out.
You guys, we have about 7 more minutes. Do y'all have any more questions for Liz or Mary?
Okay, and real quick, this is done very, very quickly, and just for me to spark interest in your mind and to inspire you, I would definitely manicure these zigzags a little bit more. But the inspiration here is for it to be sun-kissed. So what I would do is do one color formula on the root inside these 2 clipped pieces. I would do one color formula inside this root. So she's a natural level 6. I would do a 6 right here on the root area, and I would do a cooler tone, and I would melt that into a little bit warmer tone on her ends. And I would play off of this formula that I use on her root inside these 2 clipped areas. And I would play off of that formula and make it to where it's in the same tonal family for around the hairline, but I would make it a little bit warmer around the hairline, and I would change that root color just a little bit warmer, and then I would fade it down to a little bit lighter on the ends. So what you would have is 4 different formulas for her first visit. When she comes in the next time, you can match the same color formula on the root retouch right here and the same one on this right here. So that's why I asked, are you someone that needs that straight line, or are you someone that can work with the existing canvas? So I'm going to leave this with you, just some inspiration and some food for thought, something that you guys can marinate on whenever it comes to creative gray blending and creative contouring. But if you guys have any more questions, please don't hesitate to ask.
Beautiful. It looks like they're asking about aftercare and maintenance for IGORA Vibrance toners.
Oh, okay, that's great. Okay, so aftercare, whenever it comes to IGORA Vibrance, is we have fiber clinics. It's an amazing tri-bond technology. So you're going to definitely want something that's sulfate-free, something that could really take care of the hair strands. And I know I don't have a whole lot of time, so Lola, if you could just go ahead and put something in the comments so that they can at least screenshot it and reference back to it, that would be phenomenal. But do you have any more that you'd like to add about our little project that we did today and your experience with IGORA Vibrance?
I am actually really excited to start playing with IGORA Vibrance a little bit more. I have a history of experimenting with different hair colors, but I like that there's a few different things about this line that speaks to me, so I'll be experimenting on my own, and I hope you guys will too. Thank you, Liz.
Oh my gosh, you guys, it was so much fun. You saw how my mind works and the inner workings of my mind, and how I can really just take an idea and just allow it to grow. And oh, we have our timer going off, so but I hope that I inspired you guys. I hope that I made IGORA Vibrance fun for you. I hope that I made great blending fun for you. And I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your day to spend time with me and just let me get all nerdy whenever it comes to gray blending, color placements, techniques, and IGORA Vibrance. So thank you guys. I'm signing off, and I hope you have a wonderful day.